Welcome back to the Mackinac Policy Conference. I'm your host, Josh Chapman. I'm here with Kelley Kuhn, Executive Director of the Michigan Nonprofit Association. And Kelley, how are you?
I'm great. It's good to be here.
And it is great to see you. So as a fellow nonprofit, I won't call myself expert. I don't live in your world. But can you tell folks at home, what is it that you do with the Michigan Nonprofit Association?
Absolutely. So we're a state association. We serve nonprofits all over Michigan. They are members of our association, and we serve our members as well as the broader nonprofit sector in three different ways. First of all is our public policy and advocacy work, where we're monitoring the policy environment at the state level as well as at the federal level, and looking at ways in which it may impact the work of the sector, including tax policy, which is our favorite.
Yeah.
And then we do have a strong commitment to civic and community engagement, and so we think it's really important that we look at how people are engaging in the sector, from donors to volunteers, as well as some of the work that we'll do gearing up for some voter education and engagement, and our work, believe it or not, for Census 2030. And lastly, we're there to support leaders like you, to make sure that you have the resources and supports that you need to be successful in carrying out your mission.
Yeah, so that's a lot of things that you do, a lot of plates to spin. So you said the first piece was kind of the policy piece. What are some of the challenges or things that you're working on from a governance perspective or a policy perspective?
Yeah, so this has been an interesting time with regard to kind of policy and advocacy work. We know for the first time that the sector itself in the infrastructure and in the tax policy space is really kind of come under threat for the first time, right? Like the very essence that makes us charitable nonprofits, those are some of the things that are coming up and are being challenged, as well as some of the mission work where individuals are serving or organizations are serving individuals and communities, and they may be doing things that aren't favorable for some that are in office right now. And so it is making it a bit challenging because right now it's both, right? It's the behind the scenes tax policy space as well as just that threat to kind of carrying out the mission. I mean, nonprofits are here to fill gaps.
Yeah.
We're here to take the burden off of government, and when we have funding freezes and other things in those spaces, it's making it even more and more challenging. Not to mention that the demand, as you probably know, is just ticking up by the day, right?
Food programs, after school programs, things like that, and funding freezes, especially with little notice, make it a challenge for sure. And so you said the second piece, that civic engagement, and I don't think I hear enough people talking about that. So what does it look like in your space or in your lane when we talk about future, board governance or future volunteers, donors, supporters of the work that all of the nonprofits do?
Yeah, so when we think about just the essence of nonprofits, right, we're reliant on individuals who give. We're relying on individuals who give time, they give resources, they donate items. And unfortunately, all the data is pointing to the fact that those are not ticking in the right direction. And it's probably more the misalignment as we look at new volunteers coming into the space. They want to volunteer and engage very, very differently. Mm-hmm. And so what we really need to do is just think about ways that nonprofits are adjusting to be sure that we are drawing people in, because those are, 80% of funding comes from donors. And usually if you're engaging somebody in volunteering, they become donors, and then they're engaged and they're evangelists for your work, and they're just kind of spreading the word. So the civic engagement piece is really, really critical. And the other element is when we think about policy and advocacy, that's our work right now around policies that are already in place, whether they're good policy or bad policy. But the civic engagement work is about engaging to get to that world that we all want, right? Those conditions in community to be different in ways that we might not have to fill the gaps anymore, right? So that's how we think about our civic engagement work. And you're right, most people aren't thinking about that, but when the data is trending in the other direction, we got to keep elevating the importance of people engaging in our work.
100%. One of the things that keeps me up at night is looking at this dynamic and this shift. And 40 years ago, if you were an attorney or a banker, you had to be engaged. That was a part of the process. Now it's you have to create an environment and experience where there's meaningful relationships built and meaningful, impactful work. So it's definitely a challenge. And you said the last piece, just to make sure I understood, is kind of that business support. So many nonprofits, we may be really good at programmatic things or serving, but maybe the back end of the house, if you will, is not always the strongest or stockpiled with expertise. What are some of the services that you offer for those nonprofits nonprofits for the nonprofit leaders at home or around the state?
Yeah, so one of the things that we know for nonprofits is that they're constantly looking for resources and funding.
Yeah.
So we offer a grant station that is a member benefit. We offer access to the Nonprofit Risk Management Center and other resources that allow for nonprofits. To your point, nonprofits are busy doing the work, right? They're busy addressing needs in community. And so sometimes they're not thinking about the day-to-day operations, but nonprofits are small businesses and they operate no different, right? They're just charitable. We are mission over margin. But you do need those basic things in place, like managing your board, doing the fundraising, doing the back office accounting, and all of those other things. And so those are things that we're constantly looking at, partnering with organizations that can teach people and help them understand the training around those aspects. We do a lot of data. So we have an economic data report that's coming out to show how much nonprofits contribute back to the economy. That also falls under our nonprofit resources to support leaders. So it runs the gamut. And we are looking at also announcing that we're going to look at a healthcare pool.
Outstanding.
So that our nonprofits, that's a workforce development issue. That's keeping great talent like you in the sector and all your team and offering them benefits so that they can stay competitive in the workplace. So we're running the gamut.
That's outstanding. Well, you're hitting home runs, and I appreciate you stopping by to take a couple minutes with talking to us, and I hope you enjoy your time at the conference.
Same to you. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us here at the Mackinac Policy Conference.
To hear more from this conversation, visit thumbcoast.tv.